think the reason why real estate is so important to focus on is that it is my firm belief that external circumstances impact your internal thoughts, which therefore impact your external actions again, therefore your circumstances again. And so the better the home and the better places that you can surround yourself in will inevitably have better impacts on your life. And so that's why I do real estate.
I'm sitting here today with Jesse Carlson of our Crocus Hill office in St. Paul. Jesse.
Hi, Brenda.
Thank you for joining me. You just celebrated your 1 year anniversary with RE/MAX Results.
Absolutely, and it's been amazing.
Did you know it was your 1 year when I shot you a quick text?
Can I tell you what? I did know,
Okay.
and I was just like...
So you were waiting for my call?
I was waiting for it. I was on pins and needles the entire day. I was like, oh man, I hope Brenda knows.
But I thought, wow, it's already been a year. It's gone so fast.
Yes.
And in the short amount of time I've gotten to know you, I've just watched you really blossom. And what I mean by that is just this camaraderie you've developed. You're like a household name at RE/MAX Results now, and I didn't know who you were before you joined us, and now here you're like famous and you're on the show.
Apparently, yeah. No, I don't chase the spotlight. No, I assure you. Like it's like, yeah.
I'm messing with you, but let's go back in time and share with our listeners a little bit about where you grew up.
Sure.
And maybe what you did before real estate, how you got here.
Absolutely. It's so for me, I grew up in Apple Valley, Minnesota, which is about 30 minutes south of the Twin Cities. We've got the Minnesota Zoo, which is our basic claim to fame. I went to Apple Valley High School, where I played a lot of chess, did a lot of theater, did some choir stuff there, and even just did a little bit of speech at the same time too. So I just had some goofy, nerdy kind of stuff at play.
You've already just placed yourself into a box.
Yeah, correct. Right. But I tell you what,
just kidding.
No, I appreciate it, because what's always been fun is that the box of theater and chess don't typically cross, and so I was always like the one, like if I was backstage or whatever, I'd be like the one guy playing chess or whatever. I've never been very good, but those things never really truly cross-pollinated or anything. So yeah, as far as that box, who the heck knows what that box even is?
Okay.
But yeah, grew up in Apple Valley. I'm the youngest of three. My oldest brother, middle sister as well, and just went to Apple Valley. And after that, I went to University of Minnesota Morris for college, which for those of you who don't know where Morris is, it's not Moorhead. Those are two different places. I always describe it as the western side of Minnesota, that little bump. It's otherwise all flat, right? It's 50 miles in from that bump on the back of Minnesota, however you want to say the back of Minnesota.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So, middle of nowhere where I studied.
I was about to pull it up on I was trying to picture where Morris was.
Yeah, it's like right there. If that bump wasn't there, it would be right on the border of North and South Dakota.
Okay.
So, which was great. I studied political science and theater there. And then after that, went into the restaurant industry as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How long were you in the restaurant industry?
I was in there for 7 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how'd you find your way to real estate?
I found my way to real estate because there was this thing called, in 2020, I don't know if you guys heard about it, there was this pandemic that happened where suddenly everything kind of came to a halt.
Yes.
And during that time, I was still working restaurants. I was restaurant manager as well in Uptown, but like with everything coming to a halt, things got adjusted around. And that's somewhere I ended up getting the experience of working a food truck. Where
cool.
Yeah, well, sure. It was a lot of hard work. I was not fully prepared for it because it's very, very hot work in the middle of the summer. It's not like those things are air conditioned, right? Those things they've got you can get very, very smoky in there. There's like all sorts of stuff that can go on. And I worked an 18-hour day on the food truck.
Wow.
And then said, there's probably a different route for me here.
Got it.
And so I took some personality tests. I went on to 16 personalities and just saw like what they got for me, because they'll give like little career recommendations.
Yeah.
As far as like your personality type.
Did you know someone in real estate, or like, or the personality test said you'd be a great realtor?
Yeah, it was like realtor, and there was a bunch of other I can't remember the entire list, but realtor seemed as far as the education requirements during that point in time, it didn't seem as high, and so there was frankly a low barrier to entry in order to get into the field. But otherwise, I knew a ton of agents. I knew Paul St. Andrew, who is a fellow results agent here.
Yep.
And I knew some other real estate agents from restaurants as well.
Yeah.
This can stay in or not, right? But I think it's there's what's called the evolution of a restaurant worker.
Yeah.
Have I told you about this?
No, I want to hear this.
Okay, so it's so oftentimes restaurant workers will start as a busser or a host, and then work their way up to a server, and then to bartender, then manager.
Okay.
And then real estate agent. It's like there's like a little bit of a running joke.
I think we have a few of those here at Remax Results.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's because they are such similar industries. Frankly, I think they're almost exactly the same because it's variable income. You're basically working on a commission where rather than working per house, it's like all your transactions are different. Are different percentages of whatever you get, and you have to help everyone that comes in. So like. Easy similarity, you're just changing some words and concepts around.
So you started out someplace else.
Correct.
And moved over to Remax Results, like I said, about a year ago.
Correct.
And I don't know how long had you been in real estate at that time?
I was in real estate for about a year and a half before I came over. Yeah.
Before, so you were still fairly new.
Correct.
In the last year, you have tripled your business. Are you aware of that?
I am actually. No, it is. Yes,
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
What do you owe that to? What did you do?
So it's a few different things. I think being in a really, really success-driven environment, I think here at Results, it is like it's results driven. It's
we're here on the results driven show
podcast hashtag. But it's the fact that like surrounding yourself with so many agents who want to increase the number of transactions that they're doing every year, who want to help serve, and who see success as like. Not success as like not that failure isn't an option, but as success is the main goal and the main driver and the thing that they're constantly doing every day and are obsessed with real estate. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff that is very, very exciting around here. And just the fact that everything is built around you here for you to succeed and do that. So my success has been coming from trusting results to have my back in so many different situations, and so that way I can better focus on being client facing and doing just client events, being in front of them, making calls, etc. Yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely. I'm not trying to fluff or anything. It's like
and I appreciate. And the other thing I've seen in you is, like I said, the camaraderie and the like. You're this little ambassador for results, and I don't even know if you know it, but like you talk about this. Can we talk about this super secret Breakfast Club meeting?
Can talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
And now it's on camera,
yeah,
podcast. But like, I think you were one of the original. There were a few of you that kind of started getting together and saying, "Hey, let's meet and network." And you have found quickly that your fellow sales executives here at Remax Results are super supportive of one another and like rally in each other's success.
Yes.
Indeed. And that's, as much as management would like to take responsibility for that, we can. It's you guys, So talk about that a little bit.
Thank you, because it's really the person who very much started this is Gary Judson, which he works out of this office over here in Edina, and he knows so many agents over here. He came to Results at a similar time as I did. With a lot of agents from some different brokerages, and what we were finding is that there was such a want and desire for a place to talk about what we were doing in the current market. As we know, like things have been up and down over the last couple of years, or like over the last year since I've been here. It was like very, very hot market, and suddenly transactions fell off a cliff about 30 to 40%. Like I think industry wide. Yeah. Is that right? Is that kind of what we were saying?
That's correct.
Yeah. So with that, we felt a need for different agents to come together that we all know, like, and trust to be able to talk about those topics with each other. And because sometimes when something is coming from a leader, from a de facto leader, I found this out. People are less likely to believe it, but if it's coming from their peers and all that this is something that I am doing each and every day, people are much more likely to listen to it. And because people don't want to give bad advice, they want to give great advice. So it's been so Gary Judson and I have been running this breakfast club and getting agents from all over to show up here, because having such a wide diversity of opinion on this stuff, we can resolve a lot of issues. Because I learned this very early on. Everyone does real estate differently, and you just need to find the way that works for you and keep on that. And so having those different perspectives helps you figure out what you're going to do.
Very good.
Yeah.
Have you, did you have a mentor in the early days? Maybe it was someone at your previous broker, or maybe...
Yeah, at the previous broker, there was a man, Howard Dixon, as well. Yeah. Were you familiar with him?
I know of him. I don't know him personally.
Okay. Well, he was very, very early on, and I got paired up with him, and he was less likely to use a lot of technology. He was still very much the old school way of driving to clients' places and getting wet signatures and all that stuff. So, and this was in 2021. So the technology that was already well outpaced at that point. And his big thing was relationship, and not being pushy, not anything like that. Where you are, you're becoming their friend, and you are trusting the instincts of your client. And it's always. Yeah, it's always important to bring up objections. You have to be there to advise, etc. But overall, whenever you get into the right house, and this was his big thing, whenever you get into the right house, the clients will just know. Like, they know within 7 seconds. And I was, in my early days, it was like I want to push.
Interesting.
Right. It just genuinely, and like that was like something I had to learn to not do, was to push. But thankfully, he was there. And was saying at some point, like, the light will glimmer or whatever. We worked with his niece.
Okay.
But she was always looking for signs in houses. And, I was like looking for signs and all that stuff. But, like, we eventually...
She was a buyer looking for
She was the buyer, yeah. This is her first time buyer.
I've heard plenty, yes.
Yes, and...
Let's hear... I want to hear this.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this particular... So she was a buyer. She was, like, Howard and his family, they were from New Jersey, and so they were just big Philadelphia Eagles fans, right? And they're very they have like a little bit of edge on them too, which was always fun, like a little bit of combativeness.
Like most Eagles fans.
Yeah, they're from Jersey. Yeah, from Jersey.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, right. And so we were out looking for homes, and she was like, I just need a sign or whatever, and like it could be the smallest little thing that would be like, just trip her up and everything. And be like, good, and I would get impatient with it. But eventually, she found a home. She was looking for a karaoke stage, a place where she could do karaoke in the home, like in the basement, because she loved karaoke, and then was also looking for a bar, so that way she could call it Ruthie's Bar. We found the place. We found the bar. We found that, and there was even an Eagles magnet on the fridge.
Okay.
And that was all. Yeah, so it was like, it's a sign. Okay. Met another client who was into the same thing, into signs. I was like, okay, I tell you what, I wasn't into it, but let's go. Let's look for the signs that are going to make this the right house and make it feel good, like it is the house that you truly desire. But so Howard really taught me about those relationships, and actually, it was very unfortunate. Shortly after I came over here, he did actually pass away as well, and it was an amazing. It was incredibly honoring. Whatever the word is for that, to be able to just speak at his funeral, because he was such a people-focused individual, and about those relationships, like long time, tens of years, entire life relationships.
You spoke at his funeral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
It was a lot. It was but he was well worth it. Great man. For all that stuff. So I mean, thank you, Howard. Like, it's like
thank you, Howard. Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you are also working on your own podcast. I don't think it's live yet. You're getting,
quite yet.
Yeah. Can we talk about that?
No, let's talk about
Yeah.
it.
So this is.
This kind of came out of the Breakfast Club, which is our little internal networking group within Results, and even sprang forth after we went to the R4 trip, which is the Vegas trip that Remax Results or that Remax hosts for all the entire world. So got to meet Australian realtors, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And Shauna actually came up with the idea to do this podcast and reached out to Stephen Hong, who has just a great technology background.
Yes.
Can put the cameras, the mics, all that stuff, like all that technical stuff together. And Shauna brought me in as well because I have a little bit more of a theater and directorial background, and so we can kind of figure out exactly the form and format that we want to do these.
So
podcasts
is it you and Shauna that are going to be the hosts?
No. It's going to be Shauna, Steven, and I. We're going to be doing between three realtors. Oh. So we do.
I like it.
Yeah. So it's information that is just between the three of us that we're passing off to the audience.
Fun.
So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And it's go ahead.
When do you think you're gonna launch it?
My gosh, we've shot so many videos already.
Okay.
And we are just doing some editing right now. I'm hoping by the end of the summer that we're able to crank this out and push it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to share that with me when that goes live.
Absolutely. We're trying to hit all sorts of topics, whether it's staging your home, talking about inspections, talking about Stephen and I just a few minutes ago did just a quick little mini-sode about the passive houses, which are just like very, very energy efficient homes, et cetera. But yeah, so there's going to be tons of topics on there.
So where are you getting where's your sphere, your business coming from? You do a lot on social media.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say that I referred my nephew to you.
Yes, you did. And it was amazing.
And
yeah.
I just thought, because I knew, I just thought you guys, he's young, so are you. Well, yeah. Anyone younger than me is young. So
I'll
you'll
take
forever
it.
you'll forever be 29 in my eyes.
You did the math. That's good.
That's a joke listeners don't know about yet.
We'll let them know. We'll keep them posted. But yes, working with Caden was an incredible experience too, because it's walking through first-time home buyer aspects. There's a lot of stuff you don't know getting into.
And how I introduced you to him, I said, "Here, just go to his Instagram page."
Yeah, right.
I sent him a link to your Instagram page, and he was like, "Cool, I want to work with him." And so that was because you put enough of yourself out there that they can see your skill set, but also your personality, and
Well, without a doubt.
So do you get a lot of business from social media, or what's your?
So I get a bit from social media, and it's because everyone on my social media that I'm basically making videos for. It's basically people I already know. Okay. Because just throughout my long history of just whether it's been in Apple Valley, Morris, server friends, all that stuff from like those connections.
Your days in the restaurant.
I've never dropped those connections. So for that, I make videos pretty much for them, and you can't be fake on that at all. You got to be straight up. Very serious, but it's funny. I don't think my business specifically comes from social media.
Okay.
More or less, it's a consistent reminder, or it's basically touches, as I think we call it in the industry here. That it's I'm in real estate. Here's a real estate thing. Here's a house. Look at it. And they're just excited to see those aspects and see what you're doing. You wouldn't believe it, but they do care, even if it's just like a out for lunch or whatever.
Well, I can tell that it was a big part of your life when you worked in the service industry, because also you're when you ever so graciously volunteered to help run Grand Old Days, and then you came up with the idea of reaching out to local Grand Avenue businesses.
Yes.
Particularly it was restaurants mostly.
Correct.
And then, of course, and you did some giveaways there, which was really cool. But then, of course, you're doing something with Results Home Mortgage Loan Officer. What are you doing You have a promo that you're working on with the service, like a Heroes.
Yes. We're working on basically a Heroes package for restaurant workers to be a little bit more specific, because they, like real estate agents, have a variable income and sometimes just need a little bit more assistance in figuring out how to save for a down payment to know what options are available to them. Again, when you're stuck with variable, like when you have variable income and you don't know how much you're going to be making all the time, you tend to spend your money a bit more conservatively, or like however, right?
Yeah.
It's and so for us, we want to come up with a package specifically for restaurant workers in order to help pay for a home warranty and to wipe out some appraisal fees as well, as far as their closing costs are concerned. Which we, especially teaming with Minnesota Housing, can really help people get into homes that they can afford and that they can grow their life in and then make an investment in.
Yeah.
Because service industry, it's real work.
Yep.
It's very, very real work. And if you have a starting base that you can continuously invest in, grow, improve your external environment, it can really turn into a very a much better life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
What do you do when you're not real estating?
Great question. I play a lot. I play a lot of chess. I've actually played chess my entire life.
So you're still a chess player?
Still a chess player.
Cool.
I've actually recently started like a little chess club as well, which is exciting.
Okay.
And because I've played chess with so many different people throughout my life at different stages, getting them to like just even meet each other is such a fun time. And I'll just go to breweries or whatever, and just we'll set up boards, play a little bit, we'll see if we can improve on all that stuff. So yeah,
love it. All right. Any big goals that you have for? I mean, you've already done great this year. In a year when a lot of people are down, you're setting yourself up to do great things, Jesse. Like, what is your next year?
What's my next thing I'm tackling?
Yeah, share with me.
For me, I think really talking about this this restaurants package. I think there's very good diversity implications from it, because not only does everybody go to restaurants, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It's just like people will just go to restaurants. But all types of people work in restaurants as well, and as a means of closing the gap of home ownership within Minnesota, which is something that we're working on, especially in teaming up with Minnesota Housing to work on some of that stuff. Pushing that is truly a dream of mine, to get more people to more houses. That is my goal of just trying to work on that.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I love that. You also had a goal. You've come to the marketing team recently, and I with growing market share in certain pockets of the Twin Cities.
Yes.
I don't know if you're teaming up with other fellow results agents on that. How's that coming along?
It's coming along all right. Here, what I'm looking to do is right now, I don't know if this will make it, but I'm seeing if I can get a couple of other agents who are also restaurant worker like aligned as well, to push the restaurant package, so we can push into the restaurants that are on Grand Avenue and do door knocking in that area on Summit Hill.
Well, maybe if someone listening to this episode,
maybe like it's
reach out to Jesse if you have a connection with
absolutely. If you want to focus on some very, very specific geofarming, please feel free to reach out. It's like if we're gonna do the pitch, might as well do it. But I'm making very specific focused contacts with that, and
cool.
And talking with some of the results recruiters to see what all we can do to try to get them on.
Wonderful. Very good. Share something with our listeners that you want people to know about you, about what you do and why you're here.
Yeah. So, the main reason why, I mean, we found out the how I got here, but I think the reason why real estate is so important to focus on is that it is my firm belief that external circumstances impact your internal thoughts, which therefore impact your external actions again, therefore your circumstances again. And so the better the home and the better places that you can surround yourself in will inevitably have better impacts on your life. And so that's why I do real estate.
That's exactly what happened to you by coming over to Results.
Yes, exactly. Well, you surround yourself with you surround yourself with great people, and great things continue to happen. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jesse.
Well, Brenda, thank you. Seriously, thank you.